I'm Susie Cannon. Welcome to our Hope 2020 conference. So sit back and relax, and we'll get started soon.
Y'all are here with us. I know I'm glad to be here. I know that some of y'all are checking us out on the YouTube channel, which is awesome, but I just want you to know that all of the questions and answers, the giveaways, the raffles, all that is going to be on Facebook Live. So make sure you're checking that out and engaging. Send us your questions. We'd love to chat and just interact with you. I think that's it. Hey, let's get started.
Hi, everybody out there. Now, for those of you who are maybe familiar with me, I'll tell you a couple of things to start. So my name is Tammy Chrysanteri Singleton, and I have to throw in the whole name and say Chrysanteri since I'm talking to you today from my hometown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So many times, for those of you that I've had an opportunity to meet or perhaps share a lecture with, greeted a meeting from time to time, or maybe even some patients who are out there, most of the time when we're having a conversation, as I always refer to it as, we're having a conversation about something educational, something pretty serious, right? We're talking about a hemophilia-related topic, quality of life. Education is my favorite thing to participate or engage in. But today, I'm going to be a little vulnerable. So today, I'm going to tell you a little more about myself, a few personal things, a lot of personal things about myself, because I think it's important that I share this story today, share my story, share my momentum. Let's get started. So, I said I was going to get a little personal. So, again, I am from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Born and raised And actually, my family has been in the Baton Rouge area for a little over 200 years, both sides. My mom, Carol Hurst Crisentary, is originally from a place that they refer to here in Baton Rouge as South Baton Rouge. She was from a very large Catholic Creole family where she was child number 10 of 10. My grandparents were amazing people. They lived in a house that I thought was like a huge house at the time, but in actuality, it was a 3-room shotgun, and how all 10 of those guys, 12 of those guys, existed in there for forever, I have absolutely no idea. But part of the personality that you see when you're looking at me and that whole genuine spirit that comes across, because it's just that, very genuine, I don't know how to be anything else, I really hold her completely responsible for. My dad, Willard Burnell Crisentary Sr., also from right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was an only child. And he has a very interesting story too. So my dad, the only child of Evelyn Thomas Crisentary and Julius Crisentary, grew up in a place here in Baton Rouge called Morningside, right at the corner of Main Street and Segura, not far from what is referred to now as the old Baton Rouge General. That's where I spent most of my formative years as well. My dad, in my opinion, was one of the smartest and most brilliant people I've ever known. Why he had all those facts in his head, I have no idea, but I think he was a walking encyclopedia. I credit him for the knowledge base that I have. I credit him for my passion and love for education. I also credit him for some of my speaking abilities and teaching abilities and that whole, again, spirit and love and passion for education. There are a couple of things that are very interesting about my family that I think are important and really make me who I am. I sometimes describe myself as never stopping, never quitting, because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And when I say that, I mean my dad was just 2 generations from slavery. His great-grandmother was born a slave right here in Louisiana. But what's interesting from that, my grandmother, right here in Baton Rouge, actually provided the first kindergarten for black students right here in East Baton Rouge Parish. She was very well known in the city, and she was relentless and never stopped. Again, I stand on the shoulders of giants. My dad retired as a major in the United States Army and was an educator here in the city. Again, amazing, amazing people. And so the roots there, my grandmother, my grandparents, my parents, they are completely responsible for me being who I am. So again, sometimes people say, oh, you know, Tammy, Dr. Singleton, you have such a genuine spirit. You seem to have such a great passion for education. None of those things are an accident. So sometimes we start with great beginnings, and sometimes we have challenges. And I just want to share a few more interesting facts kind of about my story, and hopefully you'll find them interesting as well. So I had some inspiration along the way. Again, I'm from Baton Rouge. I went to McKinley Middle Magnet School. I went to Baton Rouge High School only for a minute because I told my parents one day I want a football team and a band and some cheerleaders, and can I please get out of here? Well, they agreed, and I ultimately graduated from Robert E. Lee High School right here in Baton Rouge. I was always a fairly decent student, but did I know that I wanted to be a doctor? Probably not. Maybe the MASH episodes that they couldn't pull me away from probably gave me a little clue in retrospect. But I had no idea that I could even be a doctor. But then one day, one of my mom's older sisters, she was a PhD. She was an English professor at Southern University. She looked at me one day and she said, you know what, Tammy? Do you know that you can be a doctor? I can be a doctor? She says, yes, you can be a doctor. You can be any kind of doctor you want to be if you want to be a doctor. and she, picked up a cup of coffee with her house coat and just walked on off. Well, she left a huge impression on me. And I didn't know what that meant then, but that was just a droplet of inspiration. My inspiration also comes from the fact that I'm from a huge family right here in Baton Rouge. All kinds of people. So I can promise you that as a doctor, as a person, that whatever I'm presented with, I think that I've seen it before. Sometimes I talk to people and I'll go, oh, that's my Uncle Harry. Sometimes I'll talk to people and I go, that's my Auntie Maisel. Every now and then there's a cousin of mine. I have crazy ones. I have nice ones. I have mean ones. I have amazing ones. I have abusive ones. I have the ones that you kind of don't want to tell them about the family dinner, but you kind of have to. I have all of that. But in all of that, with all of them, the good, the bad, the amazing, and the great, I find and continue to find some inspiration, and I'm very proud of the family that I come from. In addition to that, I mentioned I'm a Baton Rouge girl. That means I'm a girl from South Louisiana. My dad was a sportsman. All my brothers were sportsmen. Every now and then my dad would say, oh, Tammy, you're the only Terry who doesn't know how to shoot. And I'm just fine with that to this day. I want to let you know. Going hunting was like not my cup of tea. I did, however, love to fish. I picked up amazing habits like boiling crawfish, cooking, having tons of people over, going to parades, festivals, hanging out with family members. A lot of things that a lot of you do, but just in a different way, maybe in a different part of the country. But it's just so interesting when you think about it, right? All of those little things that really make us who we are. My culture and being a South Louisiana girl is incredibly important to me, and I couldn't hide it if I wanted to. In addition to that, I call New Orleans my adopted city. So I went or attended Xavier University of Louisiana. Did you catch that? Did you see how proud I was when I said that? I'm a very, very proud alumna, class of 1994, chemistry major, one of the best decisions I ever made. I always think how blessed I was to have an opportunity to attend a private Catholic university. It is a historical black college located right in the heart of the city of New Orleans. My parents, again, were both educators, so paying for that, even with the scholarship that I had, wasn't an easy feat. So I still consider it to be one of the best things, again, that ever happened to me and really put me on a path for the rest of my life. I prayed there. I studied there. I was in the gospel choir there. I had meaningful, lifelong relationships there. And I decided to be a doctor there. Moreover, I believed I could be a doctor there. And every day on my way to class, we didn't even have, at that time, a real chapel at Xavier. It was a very small chapel, almost like a walkthrough. And every day on my way to class, I stopped, got on my knees, and prayed very briefly one simple prayer. Thank you, Lord. And got up and went on my way to class. Well, again, it was at that place where New Orleans became my adopted city. So I participate in the culture of the city of New Orleans. I hang out with the Zulus, with the Mardi Gras parades, and you can see my fancy pictures. I go out with my family. We hang out with friends. We celebrate family and the spirit that we have here in Louisiana. But that whole thing started with the blessing that came to me in being a Xavier University student and now very proud alumna. So I wanted to share the concept that all that glitters isn't gold. When I was in high school and middle school and college, I did pretty well. I was a decent student. I participated in tons of extracurricular activities. I was in pageants. I was on homecoming court. I was friendly to everybody, and I really had an amazing time. when I think about it, life wasn't perfect. You know, as much as I love my parents and as great as I think they are as human beings, they probably shouldn't have been married. They were wonderful parents individually, but it sort of makes me reflect on the fact that we can't all be good at everything. So living in the house with them sometimes, it could be pretty painful. It was difficult. It wasn't something that we talked about because it's kind of embarrassing. So in the world of social media today, when people are posting pictures and everything looks amazing and everybody's smiling and you're looking at that going, oh my gosh, that person's life must be perfect. It's not. It's not that that person isn't happy. They're waking up every day and doing the best they can, the same way that we all do. I certainly didn't wake up and intend to not do my homework or not be a great student. I don't think my parents woke up every morning and said, gee, let me figure out how I could be the worst wife I could ever be. Or I don't think my dad said, let me figure out how I could be the worst husband I could be, or how could I torment my family today and have an argument with my wife. You know what? Life happens. And so we all have struggles. We all have rewards. And just because someone else's life on the outside appears to be better than yours doesn't mean that it's the case at all. And so have I been very blessed in my life? I certainly have. Have I had a lot of very sad, dark, lonely moments in my life? Sure, I have. Was I incredibly blessed during this time to know God and to have a relationship with God, and that was my personal savior, and that was my journey, and that's what lifted me out of a dark place when everything seemed magnificent and glittered, but it didn't? That was absolutely the case. We may not all believe in the same God. We may not all use the same resources. We may not all have the same coping skills, but we all have an opportunity to have the same hope. So I just wanted to share a couple of photos with my blessings. Again, I've already mentioned that Xavier University and me being a student there was one of the best things that ever happened to me. When I decided to go to medical school, it's so interesting when I reflect on that now. I now understand that when you're on the path that God wants you to be on, when your steps are ordered, the doors just open. Sometimes things seem impossible or hard and you're banging your head up against the wall. And I now have an understanding it's because God's plan is always better than mine. So when I was preparing to leave Xavier University, I wanted to attend the University of Southern California's medical school. I was accepted. I had an apartment. I was on my way, ready and geared up to go because I was finally going to get out of Louisiana. No, I'm just kidding. No. When you're from South Louisiana, it's very difficult to leave your family, your mom and them. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to get away. But I was like, this was my golden opportunity. So my dad would call every now and then and ask about my LSU School of Medicine in New Orleans. He would ask me about the interview. And I would go, yeah. It's going to be next month. I call up the people and go, can I push that back a little bit? And he'd go, yeah, what about your LSU interview? I go, oh, yeah. Can I push that back a little bit? And I pushed it back until the very last day. To make this very long story short, I went to my interview. I acted crazy on the interview, by the way. Someone asked me a question, and I told her exactly what I thought. I didn't care. And apparently my candor got me an almost standing ovation with the admissions committee. And there started my steps in terms of them being ordered by God, in my opinion. Because I was accepted to LSU. I had a scholarship to go to LSU. And there was just no question that I could turn that down. My life, again, changed forever, and the trajectory that I was on was not one that I wanted to be on, but it was one, in my opinion, that had been ordered. So this kind of starts a whole nother story. Now, you see that good-looking guy there? It wasn't just the uniform. So I went to LSU, had an amazing education, clinicals at Charity Hospital, just magnificent. But I had a chance to leave, and for general pediatrics, I was accepted at the University of Miami Jackson Memorial Training Program in Miami, Florida. Little did I know that I was going to go all the way to Miami just to meet a really good-looking, totally nice guy from the city of New Orleans. So I, in fact, ran into, it was a little more than a coincidence. I knew his sister-in-law, but had never met him before, and we would kind of set up on a little bit of a blind date, and I'll spare you all of those details. But I met Commander Damon Ivan Singleton, who was stationed at the United States Southern Command headquarters in Miami, Florida. I met him. To make a long story short, we went on one date, and then there you have it. Now, isn't it so interesting how the trajectory of my life didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, exactly the way I wanted it to. Remember, I wanted to go to USC. I wanted to go in a whole different direction, but Damon changed everything because I believe that was kind of ordered by God. To make, again, this long story short, I meet this guy. A couple of years later, we get married. And there's one more really interesting fact about that. I later found out that my dad and his dad, they were in the same ROTC class at Southern University, Baton Rouge, and they both graduated from Southern University in 1954, and they were classmates. Who knew? Something more than a coincidence, right? Those steps were absolutely ordered. So I call the next phase of my life being the obedience phase. Because when I arrived at the University of Miami, I knew that I was interested in general pediatrics. I did a hematology rotation and I was interested, but I had no idea that I would ultimately be a hematologist. I had an opportunity to go to the pediatric hematology oncology floor. And I went there because no one else wanted it at the time. The space was wide open. It fit into my schedule. I really didn't know what to expect at all, but I was told that no one else wanted it. I didn't understand why no one wanted it. And someone said to me, oh, well, it's just such a sad place. No one wants to be there. And I said, well, gee, what an awful thing to say. Like, I want to go. I want to check this out. I went as a resident to the pediatric hematology oncology floor, and I never looked back. My life was changed forever. Changed forever because of the parents that I had an opportunity to meet. Changed forever because of the amazing patients. Changed forever because I felt that I was where I belonged. Now, this was in 1998, and things were very different in 1998. We also, at the University of Miami, had a very large HIV/AIDS unit for children. I don't think that there was a coincidence that my rotation initially was in hematology oncology, and then my rotation thereafter was in the infectious disease pediatric HIV/AIDS unit that was locked away on one of the top floors at the very end of a floor in a very quiet section of the hospital, kind of secluded where no one else was. But in that place, I felt that was almost like God's work. There were amazing, amazing staff. The children that were there, it's so hard to describe. But I stayed longer than I needed to stay every day. I just felt like I couldn't be pulled away. And there was one patient there who was a hemophilia patient that I met earlier in the Peds Hem-Onc unit, but was now in that place. To make a long story short, I followed him for the 3 years that I was there and ultimately decided that I too wanted to become a pediatric hematologist oncologist because I never wanted to be separated from what I found to be my new passion. The pediatric hematology oncology patients, the patients with hemophilia, and everything that was associated with it. I felt that this was something that was important for me to do. And again, I think when your steps are ordered, things just happen and unfold. So I applied to several programs. I really wanted to go to the Johns Hopkins program in Baltimore, Maryland. I wasn't sure if I was going to get into that program. I said, this is very competitive. I have no idea if it's really going to happen. But again, I think that when you're obedient and your steps are ordered and you're doing what you're supposed to be and in the place where you're supposed to be and not necessarily the place where you want to be, things just happen the way that they're supposed to happen. And so ultimately, my family moving forward is something that I really concentrate on. I came back to New Orleans after having an opportunity to be a pediatric hematologist. And I came back to New Orleans in 2004 as a young junior attending, working hard, wanting to fulfill my dreams, be obedient, take care of patients. And I think we all know what happened the year after 2004. So 2005, Hurricane Katrina hits New Orleans. I'm a very young attending, and at that time, the young man on the totem pole, or last man on the totem pole, is the one who holds down the fort. And so ultimately, at that time, when Hurricane Katrina rolled through, I was the one who was called to duty to stay, to make sure that everything was okay. Well, it just so happens that at that time, I was huge and pregnant with baby number 3. I had 2 little kids, and we were expecting our beautiful daughter, Megan Lena. And I thought that I could do that. I said, you know what? We're going to make this happen. I'm on duty. Everyone else left. I can't abandon my patients. I have to do what I have to do. We all know that Hurricane Katrina was a very devastating event for many people in Southeast Louisiana, as well as the Gulf Coast. Well, it was for me too. So I stayed for Hurricane Katrina. I worked very hard for about 4 weeks thereafter. And week number 4 after Hurricane Katrina, my beautiful, completely amazing little girl, new baby girl, was born and took her last breath at the same time. My life was forever changed. And if I didn't have ultimately my faith, which was hard to find at that time, and if I didn't have, and I'll even use the word, hope, I have no idea how we could have gotten through that at all. But even when you're at your lowest moment, your deepest moment of despair, you're not alone. There are many others who suffer through things. But what helps you with your momentum? What helps to pull you really out of a rut when you're in one? I don't think that I could have answered what that was for me at that time. I now know and understand that it was my faith. I now know and understand that it was God. There was no human strength that I could have had that could have helped me to move forward, to be a doctor, to be a mom, to be a wife, after something as horrible as that. I still think that I'm not completely normal, if you're ever normal, after something like that. But I know that I still have my faith, my hope, and my inspiration. And those guys, that's my family. And they help me to remember to move forward. So I want to leave you with a few additional words and one final story. So I was born in 1971. That's Ryan White. He's very inspirational for all of us. And I remember him actually, and the story, when I was in school, middle school to be exact. Ryan White, of course, had hemophilia and ultimately died of HIV/AIDS and changed the face of our community, the face of medicine, and is the wind beneath our wings in so many ways. I find him inspirational when that ornament hangs on my tree, reminding me that there's hope, reminding me that my steps are ordered, reminding me that even on my worst day, that I have a reason to keep moving. My final daughter, we did have one more child, and she was born in 2007. And interestingly enough, Her name is hope. I hope that you will always have hope. I hope that you will always know that what seems to glitter is not always gold, but that we all have to dig deep. We all have to have some inspiration. Think about today, what's your inspiration? Even doctors, even those who work hard, even those who dedicate ourselves to the things we love, we still have hard times. We still have dark moments, but what keeps us moving forward? My answer is God, my faith, my hope, my reason to keep moving forward. And I also like to say sometimes, you know what, when they're coming for you, you know you're doing something right. So I hope that you can think about this a little bit, and maybe when you see me, that I'll provide you with some additional inspiration. Thanks so much.
We're going to take a moment to listen to these messages from our sponsors, and we will be back shortly.
Which one is it gonna be, Anthony? The cartoon with the fish or the polar bears?
We always watch those, Grandma.
They're all good movies.
So what's the good news?
There's about 8 million results.
Is that all? So where do we start?
How about this? Let me run through what the nurse talked about today and what we should expect when we go in tomorrow. And we can deal with all the pamphlets and these links tomorrow.
Perfect.
Anthony didn't seem nervous at all. He was so chill.
That's great.
I turned to him and said, I'm so proud of you.
That's great. You know, if this is hemophilia, first thing we want to know is how the insurance works.
Right, and that's with the social worker. But with the doctor, I don't want to forget to ask about treatment choices and factors.
Factor.
Right, factor. The medicine we Googled last night.
Come on, Dad. Go.
Hello, Amy, Hector. I know that while we've been waiting for the blood work to return, we've been operating under this assumption. And today, the blood work has confirmed it. Anthony has hemophilia A with factor VIII level of less than 1%.
That's considered severe.
Correct. Now, this means you and Anthony will initially need to come in for treatment. You'll learn about...
Insurance?
What about factor?
Correct. I'm sure you have many questions on many topics. We'll get through it all. We will educate you both, and in time, Anthony, on how and when to take his factor, how much to take, where it comes from, how it operates inside his body, and how it will help keep him healthy. It sounds like a lot, but Nurse Jess and I and the whole team here at the HTC will be here to guide you through. We treat around 100 patients just like Anthony, and whose parents have been in your shoes before. You will become experts on this, I assure you, and sooner than you may think.
Step 1, familiarize yourself with these pamphlets. We have your next appointment down for Thursday when we'll take step 2 together. Okay?
This is big. This is gonna be a big change.
Is this real?
Yeah, but we'll figure it out.
Welcome to the Griffiths plant, everyone.
Right this way.
Griffiths is respected in the hemophilia community for our storied history of being problem solvers and innovators. We pride ourselves in identifying challenges within the community and working to solve them. Today is a great example of that commitment. We needed to teach community members about our plasma products, but the usual pamphlets and PowerPoints just aren't cutting it anymore. So we took some of our engineering prowess and put it towards a special experience crafted just for families like you.
This is our new virtual reality experience. What if you could see where your factor comes from? We wanted to bring you, the community members, directly into our plasma process. We've offered free tour of the plant for years, bringing a handful of patients through whenever possible. But instead of bringing patients to the plant, a virtual reality tour now allows us to bring the plant to patients all over the country.
How do I look?
Futuristic.
Thanks to the magic of virtual reality, we can take you through each step of the process, led by our in-house quality control expert, Dr. Jones. Are you ready to meet Dr. Jones?
Absolutely.
Welcome to Griffiths.
Hi, Dr. Jones.
We require a pristine plant environment. From the plasma donation center to the plant, rigorous safeguards are in effect at every step in the process to help ensure our plasma products can be taken with confidence. In fact, 5 of our essential steps to safety take place at the point of plasma donation at our plasma donation centers. Now, are you ready for the tour? Deliveries of donated plasma arrive via refrigerated trucks, transported at -20 degrees Celsius or colder.
It looks cold.
We then thaw the plasma to begin the process of centrifugation. In the Viral Control Center, the plasma is run through several processes to separate out the factor VIII protein. The protein is then run through ultrafiltration, concentrating it from around 120 kilos down to 40 kilos. After factor VIII purification, the factor VIII protein moves into its final stage of the process, what we refer to as aseptic filling. Aseptic filling refers to the process of putting a sterilized substance into a sterilized container, like a vial. The custom technology we use was invented right here at Griffiths. We even use a special airflow system to help ensure the process is clean and safe before we lyophilize or freeze dry and vacuum seal the vials of what we now can call factor. We believe this attention to detail in creating and bringing you factor VIII treatment may mean you, your child, those you care about can get back to a more normal way of life.
I'm sure you have plenty of questions. You should. My advice is to write them out before your appointments at HCC. It's important to seek clarity and be your own advocate when it comes to your health care.
Thank you. You've given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, very cool. But still processing it all.
Me too. It's a lot.
In a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you so much.
He's asleep.
Hey, honey, you left your color book.
How are you feeling?
Take a guess.
So what's question number 1? Risks of plasma therapies?
Factor
Factor. I keep saying plasma.
and best practices.
For long-term care.
I think more than anything, I wonder what Anthony's life is gonna be like. In the next 5 years or 10 years or 30 years.
Well, that's another good question for Dr. K. What's wrong?
I can't.
What do you mean?
I can't go in. I can't do it.
What's wrong?
What's the point? What's the point of going in there? We can't fix this.
Where's this coming from? We have a diagnosis, finally.
Yeah, but there's no solution. At least not an easy one. I just feel so guilty.
Hey, all parents face challenges. All of them. Remember the night we found out? You were the one that told me how to be strong for Anthony.
Really?
Yeah, don't you remember?
What did I say?
You said it was good to be honest about your feelings, good or bad, but to be strong. And then you made me start reading. Everything. Every pamphlet, every Google search result.
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Do your homework and ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I get it though. It all feels very real right now. Like as soon as we go in and start planning with Dr. K, it all becomes official.
Exactly. And it's the start of a long journey. I just really want to get this right, you know? I want to get it right for Anthony.
You want some advice?
Maybe.
It's good to be honest about your feelings. Good or bad. But be strong.
I came up with that.
And just do your homework.
And ask a lot of questions. Whoever came up with that is very smart. And a good parent.
The best. Right?
Now, how have the last few days been?
Well, in all honesty, I felt panicked. There's so much to read and so much to know.
Yes, things can be very overwhelming early on.
But the more I learn about this, the better I feel. I just want my Anthony to be able to lead a comfortable life.
Amy, nowadays, with the products that are available to treat hemophilia,
Because allergies shouldn't get in the way of a good time. Because a heart attack should never stop the heart of a family. Because hemophilia shouldn't keep someone from doing what's in their blood. At Bayer, everything we do, from advances in health to innovations in agriculture, is to help every life we touch. At Bayer, this is why we science.
My name is Nikita, and I'm from Tennessee, and I have the pleasure of serving patients in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Tennessee, supporting the Southeast region. A Sanofi Genzyme Core Manager is a person that has the opportunity to go out into the community. We partner with the local chapters, we provide education, but most importantly, we have the pleasure of listening to the community. It is my role to be that resource to you and your family on all aspects of our company. When my children were diagnosed with hemophilia, the community was right there for me to let me know that I was going to make it through. And this is my way of saying thank you, being that resource to the next family that comes along.
Hi, we're CVS Specialty, and you've come to the right place for specialty medication and one-on-one support. We want to help make living with your specialty condition a little easier. Let's start with getting your medication. Most specialty pharmacies only offer delivery, but with us, you have options. We can provide convenient, contactless home delivery of your medication. But if you prefer to pick it up, we can have it available for you at any CVS pharmacy location. The choice is yours. We we also know that taking a specialty medication, particularly if you're new to treatment, can come with questions. So we make sure you have access to a nurse and pharmacist specially trained in conditions like yours. Together, they're known as your CVS Specialty Care Team, and you can rely on them for trusted information. Send your care team a secure message on our website or mobile app. They can help with questions about your medication order status, billing, or even side effects. For even more convenience, use our digital tools to manage your medication. You can refill prescriptions, monitor order status, make payments, and much more anytime online. These are just some of the ways we can help you manage your specialty condition. We're CVS Specialty, and we'll be here when you need us, because you are our specialty.
For more than 50 years, scientists have been investigating and evolving gene therapy, an approach that aims to address a genetic disease, such as hemophilia, at its source, the gene. Genetic diseases can be caused by gene mutations, meaning the body does not have the instructions it needs to create the right proteins. Research is exploring whether a new functional gene can be delivered into a cell to provide instructions to make a desired protein, such as factor VIII or IX in the case of hemophilia. Together, let's explore the science behind this investigational approach with our 3D vector model. In gene therapy research, we need a way to get the functional gene into the body. A transporter, called a vector, is used. Vectors are made from modified viruses. You may associate viruses with things that make you sick, but the most commonly used virus for hemophilia gene therapy research, the adeno-associated virus, or AAV, was chosen because it is not known to cause human disease. A virus is transformed into a vector by removing the viral genetic information. Now the modified viral-based shell can serve as a delivery vehicle. In a laboratory, the new functional gene is created. It contains the instructions for the cell to make a necessary protein, such as factor VIII or IX. Once created, the new functional gene is placed inside the shell. Together, they become a vector. In hemophilia gene therapy research, the vector is delivered to the body by IV infusion into the blood. The goal is to deliver the new functional gene to the liver cells called hepatocytes. Each viral vector has its own attraction, or tropism, to a certain cell type. In hemophilia, for example, AAV is attracted to the liver's cells. Once the vector reaches the liver, the new functional gene can enter a cell's nucleus or command center, where it sits next to the existing DNA. If transferred successfully, the new gene instructs the liver cells to make the necessary protein. In the case of hemophilia, the gene enables the production of clotting proteins. Safety and efficacy have not been established. Studies of investigational gene therapy are ongoing, and participants continue to be followed. To learn more about gene therapy research for hemophilia, visit hemophiliaforward.com or talk with your healthcare team.
Hi, I'm Samuel, and I'm from Long Beach, California.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Hi, my name is Leo Tellez, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, I'm Kalechi Arunga, and I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm from Grafton, Massachusetts.
Hi, my name is Rene, and I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Howdy, folks. It's Paul from Austin, Texas.
Hi, I'm Ellen, and I'm from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm Michael from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, I'm Brian from Orlando, Florida.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, my name is Lenore, and I'm from Mahwah, New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Craig Watkins in Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Nora, and I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, my name is Orson, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm Patrick, and I'm from Libertyville, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Jeremy from Denton, Texas.
Kedrin Biopharma produces and distributes plasma-derived products to treat rare diseases such as hemophilia and primary immunodeficiencies. Plasma comes from people, donors, who contribute their precious gift so others, people they most often never know, can live better lives. We act as a bridge between donors and patients by turning plasma into life-saving therapies to serve patients all over the world. Kedrin is headquartered in Italy, with subsidiaries in Europe, the US, Latin America, and Asia. We own manufacturing plants in Italy, Hungary, and the US, and through Ked Plasma, we operate state-of-the-art plasma collection centers in the United States and Hungary. Kedrin is the world's 5th player and Italy's first in the field of plasma-derived products. In Italy, we partner the national health system in its self-sufficiency program. At a global level, we distribute in approximately 100 countries, and we are market leaders for specialty treatments, including those used to prevent Rh sensitization. Kedrin started as a small family company, strongly connected to the communities where its people live and work. For us, social responsibility has always been a matter of being a good neighbor. Over the years, while expanding worldwide, we have maintained our role of bridging communities from the local to the global level. Innovation means contributing to improve the quality of life of people affected by rare diseases. Every day, we cooperate with patient and donor organizations, supporting projects that make a difference. We invest in scientific research and disease awareness. We work to broaden access to plasma therapies globally. Every day, we strive to keep life flowing.
Hello, my name is Stephen Lawrence. I take care of patients in Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Robin Lawrence, and I take care of patients in Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Debbie Costales. I'm in New Mexico and El Paso.
I'm Ed. I'm a nurse that's worked with hemophilia patients for over 24 years. I cover Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa, and the rest of the Midwest.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Ashmore. I live in Chastine, Maine. My territory covers all 6 states in New England. I love working with families, especially kids and teens, to teach transition tools for hemophilia life skills, as well as tips and tricks for how to successfully stick to infusions.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, and I service patients in Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Go Chiefs!
Hi, I'm Karen Price from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm a specialty infusion nurse helping patients in Missouri and Illinois.
Hi, I'm Judy Bagato. I'm a former treatment center nurse, and I now work with Superior Biologics as an infusion nurse.
Hi, I'm Craig McDonald from Colorado. I've been covering the Midwest for about 20 years in the bleeding disorder community.
Hi, my name is Abdiel Ramirez, and I work for Superior Biologics here in the state of Texas. If you only know how to speak Spanish, I'm also here to help.
I'm Phil Fitzpatrick, an infusion nurse with Superior Biologics.
Because allergies shouldn't get in the way of a good time. Because a heart attack should never stop the heart of a family. Because hemophilia shouldn't keep someone from doing what's in their blood. At Bayer, everything we do, from advances in health to innovations in agriculture, is to help every life we touch. At Bayer, this is why we science.
We would like to say thank you to our sponsors for partnering for our Hope 2020 conference.
Hey, Friday night, tonight, game night, right here on Zoom. If you don't have the links and don't know what I'm talking about, you're not registered. So go register so you can get the links, and hopefully we'll see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun.